good morning. You join us on the M4. Welcome to Auto Shenanigans. Thanks for tuning in. Before we carry on, of course, hit the subscribe button. Today's leg of the journey, we're going to be doing about 180 miles or so, starting at Heston Services on the M4, all the way down the M4, pick up the M5, past Bristol, and all the way down to Exeter Services. We've actually got 10 stops to do today, so quite a lot on. It is already about 10:15 in the morning, so yeah, we better crack on with it really, but there's already been traffic, road closures and stuff like that to contend with because it's the M4, of course. That's what happens. So after a lot of faffing around in West London, we have arrived at Heston Services. Because reasons, we are on the eastbound, which opened in 1968. Westbound was a year earlier, 1967. We were going to start on the westbound, but because of motorway closures, we have to start here. Heston Services was built on the site of the old Heston Aerodrome. I don't think there's any trace of that left today. And Heston is one of two services which sits within the M25, the other one being London Gateway Services on the M1. We'll be seeing that in another episode coming up. According to Moto, the operators, Heston scores in the top 5 for customer service satisfaction, which is fantastic. I look forward to being served very satisfactorily. Worth a shout out to Gemma on Twitter. Thank you very much for your information in helping us film this episode. Gemma works, I think, in the press department for Moto Services. So we're going to go inside, have a look around, see what the score is, see what we can find. See you there. Eastbound is a lot smaller than the westbound side, but we're not going to get over there, unfortunately. We're going to grab some breakfast. I mentioned there was no trace of the airfield that this used to be built on, but here is a memorial or dedication. Opened 1929, closed 1948. Hey, mate.
Hello. Phone box. Oh, you see them?
There is a phone box. That is a good spot. Like a waving arm flailing inflatable tube man. Just going along the M4, have you noticed that the more you go along the M4 away from London, the better everything seems to become?
Very much so.
We shall continue our journey in the average speed cameras. If anybody knows when the average speed cameras on the M4 do end, do let us know, because the chances are we would have uploaded this video by the time we actually get to the end of this. Okay, we arrive at Reading Services run by Moto, just on the M4, as I'm sure I've already said loads of times. Reading opened in around 1995 and was built on an old landfill site. When it was developed, they had the foresight to leave enough space for widening of the M4, and at the time it was just an idea. We've sat through a load of average speed cameras to get here, and it would appear that maybe widening the motorway, converting it to a smart motorway, something like that is occurring. So during development they actually left space for this to occur, so it's one of those rare instances where they thought about it in advance and it's actually worked out. If you're ever visiting Reading westbound, keep an eye out for the glass pyramid entrance, which you don't get on the eastbound. It was there originally, but it's been removed. Okay, service station number 2 of 10 for today done, so a fair way to go yet. You had enough yet?
Yep.
Alright, we've arrived at Chievley Services, opened in 1986, and originally was a service station on the A34. It wasn't actually a motorway service station, and later on signage and access was added from the M4, and it is now an official motorway service station operated by Moto. It's another one for Moto today. I think we've got quite a few of theirs lined up. You're welcome, Moto. Well, this is an incredibly lovely Porsche. We like our cars, as you know, on the Auto Shenanigans channel. We're here at Membury Services, opened 1972, and was built on an old World War II airfield. That's a massive B. There is a tribute memorial somewhere to be found, so we're going to go and see if we can find that and whatever else we can see. There's an escalator. Something I forgot to mention, that this is a service station on our list that has one of the David Fisher art murals. If you watched our last episode, you would have seen that we sort of started a little bit of a search for these art murals. No David Fisher art mural, but I think that's going to be expected on most of our searches for them. Did find a nice art piece by Elaine Jones. No idea who she is. I'll look that up and probably come back to you next episode with some facts, and maybe it'll spark us off onto a whole new kind of treasure hunt. Who knows? But right, we'll jump back in the car and see you at the next service station. It's so hot, I can't even think straight. Hey buddy!
Hello mate.
Well, that is Membury services complete. That's number 4 of 10, so another 6 to go for today. We've stopped. What's this guy doing? I honestly don't know. Hello, we are at Leigh Delamere services, just off the M4. Site of the first Domino's Pizza at a service station. Opened in 2011, closed not even a year later, 2012, so waste of time on their part. I guess people don't like Domino's when they're travelling. Okay, that is Leigh Delamere services done, which is number 5? Number 5 of 10 for today. So halfway there now. I've taken over the driving to give Aidan a little bit of a break. Just a couple of quick facts on Leigh Delamere. Opened in 1972 and 2 years later was forced to close because there was a bomb scare, believe it or not. There is a bridge linking the two sides as well, if you're interested.
Love a bridge.
I love a bridge. And that's about it really. We have kind of had to plan a bit of a diversion, so there's loads of traffic on the M5, so we are going to negotiate our way kind of around the back and pick up our next stop, which is Gordano Services, or Gordano, I'm not sure which it is. So we'll see you there. Well, we've made it to Gordano Services, or Gordano. It opened in 1973. In a recent survey by Which magazine, it was rated the second worst service station in the country. Sorry about that. There's an awful lot of upset people. It would appear that there is a power cut, so no one can do anything. So today is not a good day to come to Gordano Services, so we'll probably just leave it there and let Welcome Break take care of it, and I'm sure they'll come bouncing back and it'll be a better day tomorrow, right? Well, hello. After a rather long and sweaty journey, we have arrived at Sedgmoor Services, which is just off the M5. We still actually haven't really been on the M5. We've been avoiding it, going around all the back ways, and we may have used one of the sneaky backdoor entrances to get into Sedgmoor today. Sedgmoor opened, well, initially in the 1970s as Brent Knoll picnic area. Effectively, it was just a massive car park with not a lot going on. Crime seemed to rise over the sort of next 10 years, and then 11 years after opening it actually became an official service station. This is another service station with a David Fisher art mural, allegedly, so we'll see if we can find that, but so far we have come up empty-handed on that search. Well, alrighty, that was Sedgmoor Services, which is number 7 of 10 for us today, or to look at it another way, that's number 21 out of 93. So we have 72 left, which we're not all doing today, as should be clear by now. So we've just rejoined the M5 South. We have been messing around with back lanes, country roads for the last couple of hours because the traffic has been absolutely awful, and we didn't want to sit in a traffic jam on the motorway. If you saw our last episode, you'd have seen how that didn't really end so well for us, so we kind of wanted to avoid that this time around. Hopefully now we should be okay, and we'll get a reasonable run down to where is next? Taunton Dean Services. So, oh, that's a Mustang. Well, hello. As we were driving down the M5 to Taunton Dean Services, we saw signs to Bridgewater Services, meaning I've missed one off the list. I've completely miscounted. I'm going to double check, so it could mean that we have 94 services in total, so the entire count throughout the episode so far is incorrect, but I'll come back to you to check that. I am absolutely thrilled though that we found Bridgewater Services, because a quick internet search reveals that it is unfortunately rated as the worst service station in the entire country. Not my opinion, not my facts, I simply read that online. Don't kill the messenger. I'm really sorry, Moto. It is what it is. At first glance, is it the worst service station? Yes, because the parking is an absolute nightmare. Well, that's Bridgewater Services. I've had a quick look around. On a hot day like today, the air conditioning in there is excellent. It was very welcomed indeed. I can't see what all the fuss is about. I'm not sure this is the worst service station that we have seen or are going to see in this series. We are going to every single one after all, so by the end we should be able to tell you without no shadow of a doubt which is the best service station, because we're all about positivity here. So that was Bridgewater Services, which, as I said, a little bit of an unexpected stop. Must have overlooked it. We're going to have a bit of a recount on how many service stations there actually are, because it would appear we may have missed one or two. But certainly that's done. I don't think it's the worst service station in the country. Certainly it hasn't even been the worst service station on this trip so far, so I'm not so sure how justified the internet is in their opinion, but I'm not going to argue. It is absolutely fine. Welcome back. We're at Taunton Dean service station, run by Road Chef. It opened in 1976, and for quite a long time, if you were heading northbound, there were no facilities. You had to cross the walkway bridge and use what was on the south side. I'm on said bridge now, as we've already established. I love a bridge or a walkway at the service station, so I'm just walking up there. There are, as I say, buildings on the northbound side now. I'm not going to go up all the way there, but we'll go and check out the southbound building shortly. For those who watched our last episode, you'll know that we had quite a few car issues. So we've swapped it out. We've gone from luxury executive limousine to Scandinavian trip to the dump car, but you know, it almost works just as well. We've only got an engine management light on in this one. Right, that is Taunton Dean Services done. I don't want to be disgusting, but I am dripping. It is so hot outside. But Taunton Dean was certainly a lovely little quaint services. We're now picking up the M5 again to Cullompton Services. So we've just come off the M5 southbound at junction 28. We were getting a little bit worried because we couldn't see any signs for Cullompton Services. Keep going straight up, mate. But of course, this is one of the few service stations that doesn't have any signs from the motorway. So if you do want it, you've got to come off at junction 28. And it is a northbound side services only, so if you're southbound you've got to come off and over the motorway, and yeah, you'll find it, and we have just done so. So we're going to park up and we'll see you in a sec. Cullompton Services was built on an old railway yard. The area you see behind me was originally supposed to be a railway station, but I don't think the idea ever came to fruition. And just behind those lorries, and there's a fence line there, sits the railway line. So if you're Jeff Marshall, this is probably the service station for you. You can sit on the picnic bench over there and watch the trains go by if that's your thing. And it really is squeezed in quite tightly between the railway line and the motorway. Right, that is Gordano Services done. It was incredibly nice to meet Angela and her team, who looked after us very well there. I said I was going to give her a little shout out in the video. Shout out to you, here it is. So we're now going to rejoin the M5 South, heading down to Exeter Services, which is the final stop for the day. I don't know which way, mate. Left here, mate.
Exeter M5.
Oh, Exeter M5. Yeah, just as well he didn't listen to me. We'd have been going the wrong way. Okay, we've made it to our final stop, Exeter Services. Did you notice, mate, we passed through 8 sets of traffic lights to get in here?
I counted them, there were definitely 8.
100% 8, because that's what the internet says, and I'm pretty sure we just saw that. Built in 1978 on a pretty haggard industrial estate in Exeter, but yeah, here we are, final stop, really excited. It's been 13 hours on the road so far. We're going to go in and have a wander round. Okay, that is Exeter Services done, final stop for the day. So that makes it what we originally thought was going to be 10 service stations, actually 11, because we stumbled across Bridgewater Services, having missed it off our list. We have now done 25 service stations in total. That makes it roughly a quarter of the way there now, so I hope you're still enjoying the videos as much as we are as making them. I say that loosely. We've been, well, what was it, 6:30 a.m. I left this morning, so I've been on the road since 6:30. It is now 7:20 to 8, and we've now got a 3.5 hour drive home.
Yes.
So it's a long old day, so I really hope you wouldn't mind hitting the old subscribe button, give us a like, and follow our progress, because yeah, it's a lot of hours. Join us next time for episode 4, where we shall be off to Wales. So it's going to be a little bit of a Wales special, because we're going to be taking in all of the service stations across. It's pretty much just the M4 in Wales, but we shall see you next time. I think it's 7 bridge services, 7 valleys, something like that. Anyway, we shall see you next time for a Wales expedition.